We are now joined by number two ranked UFC heavyweight Curtis Blaydes, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Gateside Press.
Hey Curtis, it feels like this matchup is one that's been floating around for a while. Is there any extra motivation or excitement for you now that you're finally going to get in there and put your hands on Derek?
Um, I'm just as excited as I would be any opponent. I'm always happy to get in the octagon and put on a performance and earn another paycheck. So it's just like another fight for me. I am happy that I have one.
Gotcha. After the last fight, you were very honest about, you know what? It may not be the popular decision, but I'm gonna fight the way I'm gonna fight, and I'm gonna be the heel. I mean, you could tell us personally, how did fans react to it? Did they kind of push back, or did they like the fact that you were so honest about what you were gonna do out there?
Uh, Reviews were mixed. Some of the fans enjoyed it. They enjoyed the honesty, and then some were like, "Hey, we don't want to watch you wrestling." So it was mixed reviews. I don't care, to be honest.
Talking about the heavyweight title picture, you win. It's obvious that you're up there, but I don't have to tell you, there's obviously a lot going on. Very simply, do you see yourself waiting for a title shot, or do you think that you're going to end up being busy in 2021, belt or no belt?
Um, I think I'll be waiting. Win this fight, that'll be five in a row, and I think that should be enough for me to warrant a title shot.
My final question, I know earlier in the year that you had said some stuff that rubbed people the wrong way about the women's fighters, specifically Rachel Ostovich. She is on your undercard. Have there been any awkward run-ins or anything addressed with that?
No, I'm way over that. I'm a, I'm an adult. I have adult things to worry about. Care about that.
Thank you, Curtis. Good luck.
We'll take our next set of questions from Jim Barcelone with the Miami Herald.
Thank you, Curtis. And just how are you feeling going into this fight and your preparation for this fight? Did you have to do anything different just dealing with the pandemic, or was it just business as usual with training?
I feel great. My body feels great. Mind feels great. And yeah, the camp was, I mean, it was a little different because of the pandemics. Sometimes the gym wasn't open. Sometimes didn't have guys weren't available, but we made it work, and I feel like it was the best camp we could have possibly had on.
Who did you bring with you for this fight?
My usual cornermen: Benny Lopez, Cody Donovan, Austin Hubbard, and Zach Ponga.
And Curtis, you're known also, I guess, for trying other things. Do you ever consider going against Yamamoto in a sumo rematch?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I actually enjoyed that. That was fun. I think me having the experience of already trying it early this year, I think doing it again, I would do a little better than I did the first time.
You have the experience under your belt now, so to speak. And then lastly, too, in doing other things, I know your focus is on MMA and fighting, obviously. But when you're talking about doing other things like sumo wrestling, is pro wrestling something that you might consider later on down the road?
I never even thought about that as an option. I guess if I'm retired from this sport and they want to offer me a decent amount of money to just pretend to wrestle, yeah, I could do it.
Well, you have a good look for it, too. You're a good fighter as well. Thank you much.
We'll take our next questions from Omer Murtsavici with S Sport.
Just how are you?
Fine, sir. How are you?
Yeah, fine, man. Thanks. You almost beat everyone in this division, and you lost only Francis twice. If you beat Lewis, who is in your mind on your next fight?
Whoever's got the belt, I think I should be the. I think Francis should be fighting Stipe for the belt, and whoever's the winner, that's what.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll take our next questions from Pablo Santamaria with Multi MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Curtis. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are your thoughts when you hear that to Derek saying that he's going to out wrestle you? What are your thoughts when you hear that kind of stuff?
I think that's comical. Yeah, for him. I think he just says it because he knows you guys are gonna just talk about it.
Okay, so it's your second fight on the pandemic. So what what's any difference between your first camp and this one?
We have a better understanding of how to work around the new protocols at the gyms and our communication as a team between the coaches and my sparring partner. Like all the coaches together, we just have a better communications. We've been able to adapt a lot easier.
Okay. And my last one, what's your prediction for the fight?
If I win, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's first, second, third, fourth. I didn't be a split decision. I don't know, but I will win.
Okay. Would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans?
Appreciate you guys watching and those that support me, all the support, and those who don't like me. Here.
Okay. Thank you for your time and good luck on your fight.
We'll take our next question from Jake Anderson with Stateside Press.
Hey, thanks very
Pueden
much.
hablar. Ya salte
Curtis.
nomás. Ya.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that was either. So Curtis, you said ahead of this fight that the UFC was protecting Derek, and I'm just curious now that it's here. Did you actually feel that way, or was that more of an attempt to get the fight done, to get it signed?
I mean, yeah, I'm not one of those guys who just says ridiculous stuff just to get press views. If I said it, I meant it. I didn't mean it. Gave him Blagoy Ivanov. I don't think very highly of Blagoy Ivanov. Gave him Ir Latifi. I don't think very highly of Ir Latifi. They've given him a lot of guys who I don't think very highly of. Yes, they've been protecting him.
Fair enough. And I know you said this should get you the title fight, and you would sit if necessary. Is there any worry that the arrival of John Jones to heavyweight could see him jump the line, and then potentially you're looking at a year layoff?
Yeah, that's a possibility. I know it's very plausible, and guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I don't waste any of my brain cells or brain or time just projecting on things out of my control. It could definitely happen, and there's nothing I can do about that. So,
With that in mind, then, how important is it to make a statement in this fight with Derek?
it's not. My job is to win. Even if even if I hit Derek with a flying armbar, if the people want John Jones, people are going to get John Jones. There's absolutely nothing I can do. It's out of.
All right. Fair enough. Thanks very much for your time.
We'll take our next questions from Damon Marvin with MMA Fighting.
Hey Curtis, coming out of the last fight, you're a guy who goes out there and wins by any means necessary. Out grapple somebody or knock him out like you did to Santos, whatever it is. But do you enjoy kind of being the spoiler a little bit when people, you get upset about you go out there and wrestle and things like this, but you are a tremendous wrestler? Like, do you get a little smile just like playing that spoiler, like Derek Lewis, guy who likes to go out and get big knockouts, those kind of things, like playing that spoiler to Derek Lewis? Like, do you get a little bit of excitement about that?
I mean, yeah, a little. It's fraction. The biggest thing that gives me a smile is getting my hand raised because I know I'm getting a win bonus. Then I guess, yeah, a very, very small part of the smile is I know a lot of the people would have preferred Derek to knock me out. That didn't happen. So, yeah, a little bit of the smile. Majority is because I like winning, and I don't, like you just said, I don't care how. I don't understand why it makes people that I use my wrestling, but that's not my intent. And intent is just to take the path of least resistance, and me using my wrestling because I'm a very good wrestler is always going to be the least resistance.
Not taking the attention away from Derek Lewis, but when you look at the division as a whole and you look at your wrestling, do you feel like that is your greatest weapon? Because when you look at the heavyweight division, there aren't a lot of high level wrestlers. Obviously, you are Stipe, is a Division One wrestler, but again, a different kind of thing. But do you feel like that's always going to be your biggest weapon? Because until somebody can stop you from doing it, then your job is to take them down.
Exactly. Having the wrestling in my back pocket is a sorry. Having the wrestling in my back pocket is always it gives me a lot of confidence because I know I can strike, I can play your game if that's what you want to do, but if anything goes bad, I can always take you down. So I think I'm always going to rely on that. Even as my hands have grown and they will continue to grow, I think one of the biggest reasons that Cain Velasquez isn't here right now in the sport is because he listened to the fans and he fell in love with his hands and his body broke down from all the wars he did not need to have. He could have easily taken guys down at will, but he chose to stand and bang. His choice, good for him, but his body paid the price. My wrestling plays a major, major part in my plans for my longevity. I don't want to be an old, broken down man in 10 years because of the stand-up wars I gave to fans who won't care about me after I retire.
Do you feel kind of what gets lost in the conversation here because everyone loves a big knockout and we always talk about it with heavyweights, it only takes one shot, but you're going to fight a very smart fight. And we do see wrestlers get away from it. You see wrestlers fall in love with their hands and suddenly it's like you never see them go for a takedown anymore. Do you feel like you've learned the lesson from, Cain or other wrestlers who you've seen kind of fall into that pattern? You've kind of learned from their mistakes and you don't want to make those same mistakes.
Yeah, I've learned from Velasquez. I've learned even from Ronda Rousey. I know she wasn't exactly a wrestler per se, but she's a grappler, very very dominant grappler. Her advantage in that department, I think, was always going to be pretty big. I think she allowed herself to be talked into one of the fans her hands when she could have armbarred girls for another 2 years and added on to her legacy, but she wanted to strike with Holly Holm, which bad idea, and get head kicked.
For me, Curtis, going into this fight, I know you said, however it takes you there. If you have to be a 5-round decision, it's a 5-round decision. But if you do get Derek Lewis down to the ground and you put him on his back, do you feel like it's going to be hard for him to survive 5 rounds with you on the ground. I know you actually said, you told me before, you were actually really impressed by Volkov, the way he was able to survive on the ground with you. But do you think Derek Lewis has that same kind of ability?
Yeah, he's very tough. He's hard to put away. But then again, a lot of heavyweights aren't able to put up the pace and the output that I put up. That's why, again, I was impressed by him. That was the first time that's ever happened. Someone's been able to match me and like contain me, ground and pound. But then the more I watched that, the more I realized part of his containment of my ground and pound, his unique height and length. Like he had really long torso. He was able to use that to hold me in his guard. I don't think anyone else on the roster has that ability. So yes, I would be very surprised if Derek was able to stand my ground and pound.
That's all the time we have for you today, Curtis. Thank you.
Thank you.